this guy that I spoke with through the state was very obnoxious, very, you don't have to treat a person like it's dirt because he's made mistakes years prior. Okay, I've done
Is it someone
everything.
at the Secretary of State's office?
So, the officer that I spoke to when I had the hearing, he was very
Is
obnoxious.
that Medelsky?
Yeah, he's very, obnoxious in the whole situation. Now, I've sent up there and he's trying to say about the transcripts. First off, they said they didn't even get my paperwork, which they signed twice that they received, but he said he never received, which held up my court hearings. Okay, now he's telling me he doesn't have transcripts. What am I supposed to? I get caught in the middle. I can't afford a lawyer. I'm busy taking care of a son on a fixed retired income. I've taken care of people all my life and struggled because of my mistakes of getting behind the wheel and driving numerous times.
Well, Mr. Barron, let me stop you for a moment.
But
The court,
I feel like I'm being, how can you say, well, here, let's add some more on them, add some more, being punished for this stuff, more so than anything else.
okay, well, just to be clear here, Mr. Barron, the court is not looking at it this way. The court is only looking at it from what the documents are in the file. And as I understand it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you did have some sort of hearing with the hearing officer.
Yes.
This would be hearing officer Medelsky. After the hearing was held, it appeared, tell me if I'm wrong, that they ordered you to be able to operate a motor vehicle, but with an ignition interlock device.
Well, with the ignition interlock device, for one, which I cannot afford, okay, to continuously spell out, because like I said, I have a whole family that I'm taking care of, severely autistic son. Okay, that it costs money that, where you're gonna pull it out. Okay, for another, he wanted something like set between 7 in the morning till 9 at night. How am I supposed to do things?
Okay, but to answer my question though, you were given a restricted license with that ignition.
If you want to call it a restricted license, all they said was to go back in front, go back and, get your driver's license, get this all on, come back in front of me in a year's time so that you can go back and, with the drug tests and all these pay more money.
Okay,
Come on, enough's enough. I've already paid thousands of dollars because one doesn't accept one drug test, one doesn't accept this, one doesn't, it seems like I'm trying to get my stuff straight, but nobody else seems to want to coincide either.
all right.
But now you're wanting to put me on this restriction, okay, and punish me more?
But just to be clear though, you wish to appeal the decision of the hearing
Yes.
officer.
Well, that's all I'm asking. I feel myself.
What is that? I just need to answer my question though. I mean, no disrespect.
No disrespect, but you also.
But you want to appeal the decision of the hearing officer to hopefully get a full driver's license.
Yes,
correct?
sir. Considering I've done everything, not once, but twice, as far as rehabs and everything else on my own. Not, it's not being forced or anything. I've proven, okay, that I can rectify what mistake I made.
Okay, but just hold on a second. I mean, no disrespect, please.
You're not disrespecting me, sir.
And I appreciate that because I'm really not trying to. The thing, what I'm telling you is you have a right to have a hearing here in this court to challenge it. And I cannot render legal advice, just like Mr. Rutkowski cannot render legal advice. But when it comes to something like this, when the court receives a petition to have a hearing officer's decision reviewed, the court has to have not only the order, which you did provide, there's an order in the file, but there's also a transcript of the entire hearing, which the court has to review to determine whether or not you met one of the statutory requirements to warrant a changing of your driving privilege.
Well, see, they never gave me anything as far as anything I took everything upon myself as to what needed to be done and what not. Now, just like when I petitioned them to come down here, okay, they said they didn't get it. How can you not get it when you signed for it? That's not once, but twice. And I'm sorry, But my opinion is now turned into a game where send you there. Who's collecting this? Okay,
And that I don't know, because that's Article 1 under the Constitution. This is Article 3. The courts are completely different and distinct from the Secretary of State's office. This is the only thing I can tell you, and I know it's not what you want to hear, but I have to tell you, again, I can't render legal advice. However, I would strongly encourage you speak to someone who can help you with this. Number one, that likely an attorney. And I know the money is tight. I get that. But
No,
I
yes,
can't
yes, sir,
tell
it
you.
is tight when you,
Oh.
when you have one that turns around and you spend all the money, you've been in there for a year with this person, and all of a sudden they graduate up to a higher step and everybody else gets left with their pants down.
And I can't speak.
And
to
that's
that,
what
sir.
it's- what it was.
I'm just speaking for myself. I would strongly encourage you to speak with,
And I refrain from using people's names or whatever because,
and I'm not asking for any names.
you know, I'm sure people know what I'm speaking of.
Sure.
and-
But I, as a judge, I can't, I mean, here's another example. Let's say, God forbid, one of my family members gets charged with a crime or has issues with the Secretary of State trying to get a license. I can't even represent them. I can't even give them legal
Conflict
advice.
of interest, yeah.
Right, but the same applies here as well. So all I can tell you is, sure, the petition's been filed, but the court needs additional documentation from the Secretary of State.
Should I have received this transcript or anything else considering
I have no idea what the
Okay,
attorney
'cause I-
may have filed.
this, they're talking transcripts, you're looking at 30 years that have gone by, okay? And you're asking for a transcript of what, whether it was, what had happened 30 years ago or,
The hearing that you had, that the hearing officer.
okay,
allowed you
there,
to
so
have.
there should be no reason, that's not on my end. I never received anything either, except for near the last
Nor did the
minute
court.
of, oh, now you got all these restrictions.
Mr. Rakowski,
I was just gonna say that what the court had indicated further is that if the judge just listened to you today, Mr. Barron, and decided to give you a license because we didn't have the transcript of documentation, the Secretary of State would appeal it immediately, and it would be, we're right back in the same. boat.
They're
That's
again,
why,
they're an outside entity that's.
Sure.
right?
but with that, that's why the court needs those documents before it could go forward.
And
Well,
so-
can the court or somebody order these? Because it seems like every time I tried to speak with this man, it's been nothing but problems with this guy. Okay,
The court cannot order it.
well, how, well,
I'm sorry, and again,
I know you can't
no
give me any
disrespect.
information.
I'm tied here because I can only hear what's contained within the transcript. But this is what the court is going to do. I don't want you to lose the opportunity of having the petition filed. In other words, well, the court's just going to dismiss it, then you're going to have to go through the whole rigmarole again. Court's not going to do that. I'm going to adjourn this matter for 60 days. 60 days from now, hopefully we have a transcript by then. If we have a transcript earlier, we can even schedule it earlier to have it here. But we need to have the documentation so we can proceed accordingly. But I'm not going to dismiss the petition because right now we don't have the documentation. I want to give you that opportunity to try
I
to get it.
appreciate that because like I said, I've been battling this for quite a while. I've been denied 3 times because of lack of paperwork. Okay, which I didn't know how to do half of the stuff, so I can understand that. I had a lawyer almost 20 years ago go to try to represent me to see if we could, I got some sort of restrictions to come back and say, well, you owe me $250 out of 500, there's nothing we can do. Okay, and it's just been an ongoing situation where I've been bounced around bad acts and everything else. This one wants this type of drug test, this one don't want it from this place, but this place can turn it around and evaluate you, but they can't do your drug test, you know, it's been to the point where you feel like you just want to get in the car and say, here's your reason. Because,
It's just like walking through that wall, sir. I get it.
you know,
I get it.
what I'm saying.
I get it.
I'm
That's
not
why I'm
asking-
going to give you the 60 days.
I'm not
to find
asking
right.
for, my hands to be tapped or anything. I served 30 years without a license and struggled. And I went to,
Hold
you
on.
know,
That's why when we have the hearing, I cannot consider anything outside the hearing. So that's why you can't expand the record. That's why I have to stop you. I'm going to give you the 60 days.
okay.
Okay? Can we have another date?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. which will be on Monday at 11 a.m. Stand by. Can you provide notice? We're going to give you notice of that right now.
Thank you. so
Mr.
much.
Rakowski, anything else for the record?
It just looks like, at least the documentation here was that the transcript needs to be requested by Mr. Barron to the Secretary of State. We don't deal with that aspect. We deal with it after it gets there. So I'm not sure what paperwork needs to be filed. I mean, we just don't have that. We just know that the letter here refers to that, indicating that they need notice of that hearing that the court is setting now, the June 27th date from Mr. Barron, as well as the requirement for requesting the transcript. And then those documents should come to Mr. Barron, should come to us, should come to the court at that point, once those requests are made.
What letter are you referring to, Mr. Rakowski?
It's a letter dated February 13th from the Secretary of State.
That in the court file. It was only sent to you then.
It may have been just.
That's why I said there's
us.
been quite a bit of interaction back and forth from the state. And it just seems like, it's, on their time and nobody else's time, and whatever they say they got, and what they didn't, which is not, I've got a stack of papers back there that shows that I've done more than my share on everything.
Mr. Barron wants to talk to me about a separate matter, which I will do after the hearing. But we can print him a copy of what we received from the Secretary of State.
That would be
so
great.
You can see. what we
That's
have.
much appreciated. Any problem with that, sir?
No,
Just
I'm actually asking the courts for help now because it's gotten to the point where, okay, when you make a mistake 30 years ago, it's one thing to pay for it. Okay, and do what you're expecting and everything else, but it's another thing, but when you try to go up there, it's always another roadblock that isn't yours.
Well, this court's not trying to block you from anything because we could dismiss the petition right now.
No, I understand.
We're not going
And I'd have to
to.
go all the way through again.
Mr. Rakowski will get you a copy of that portion of the letter. You can contact him and hopefully in 60 days we can have it here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the record.